We have an entire OTS championship-filled weekend, and I tell you, by looking by some of these results, that you would swear the format is not anywhere near as bad as it is on the top surface. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. We have the official breakdown for the Last Trick OTS Store Championship here. Now, top 8 for this event is very interesting because you see you have 2 Sword Soul, 1 Punk Adventure. Okay, so some pretty standard stuff. Sword Soul in regions outside the US actually ends up being a pretty dominant force. And I think it's definitely interesting at the end of the day when you see Sword Soul just kind of show up and be this like evil villain in the room. It's very hilarious. We also had 1 Shark deck in top 8 as well, and you're probably like, really? Sharks? Yeah, I kid you not here, ladies and gentlemen. Sharks ended up winning this event, and you're like, what? We also had 1 Sprite deck in top cut, 1 Flounderies, we had a Sprite tier element deck, and an Evil Twin deck. Now, to everybody's surprise here, where'd the meta go when you get to the top 4 here? I kid you not, ladies and gentlemen. Sword Soul had 2 placements in top 4. You're like, holy moly, really? Evil Twins made it to top 4 as well. And Sharks made it to top 4. They edged out Tearlaments, Flounderies, Sprite, and the Punk Adventure deck. This is like the dream event that rogue players want to see, because when you can see, you know, oddball rogue decks getting the chance to do good, I think that that's amazing, ladies and gentlemen. You know, once again, if you look at like the way the format is in terms of power creep, you know, like the crazy levels of, you know, insanity that happen here, you look at these events and you're like, wow, you know, this doesn't look anywhere near as bad as it seems like it's been. I mean, that's true. It really is. We're going to pass on over to top Decklist now. Winning the event here is none other than Sharks. Now, I have not seen a lot of the water control decks getting the chance to shine, but this one definitely was interesting. We are only playing 2 goes in match, which means if we get underneath, you know, the floodgate lock for Mr. Crackalacken, it ends up being pretty good. I see that we're playing the Exceed Remoras in here as well. The Crystal Shark definitely makes this deck pretty good. Of course, Right-Hand Shark does wonders, but we are not playing the Crooked Cook in this particular build, which is interesting, actually. I also see that we're playing a Water Barrier statue in here as well. Honestly, the Water Barrier statue seems like a pretty good detour for the format, which means that you can kind of set up and edge out your opponent in certain places. So overall, I like this build a lot. This is so much more different than some of the other things that we have seen within the format, all right? Next up here, we have the Evil Twin list, and this is also very, very cool. I haven't seen Evil Twins performing in such a long time, but this build is very interesting. We have Defusion, and I think that's the Desynchro card in the side deck as well. Talk about weird tech choices for 500. I mean, to be fair, this is a localized level event for locals. So you're going to see players out here, you know, stepping up to bat with these odd choices in order to counteract the metagame. And it looks like the Evil Twin player, if what I'm assuming is correct here, was fully ready for any sort of shenanigans that we might see from synchro-based decks. And to me, at the end of the day, that is great, man. All right, like, that gives you such an amazing time edging out the competition that you just get free wins for no reason. That's why, like, localized metagame events like this are pretty interesting. Next up is our first Sword Soul list here. Now, I do see that we are playing the Mystical of the Mine in here, and at least one person in the comment section is going to roll their eyes inadvertently and go, oh my god, I hate Mystic Mine. I get it. No ban list. Can't do anything about it, man. We also have 2 Dark Ruler No Mores in the main deck, which, if you're looking at this, you notice we have 1 Nibiru in the main deck. We have Triple Ash, which is fine. We're only main decking 1 Talents. We're on 2 Dark Ruler No Mores, and we're playing 1 Mystic Mine with 1 Chalice. Your tech choice ratios for this deck are pretty interesting at the end of the day. This kind of gives you some interesting, like, runaround and choices for what you would want to do, I guess, in terms of card pool for what's available to you. So who really knows at the end of the day, you know, if tech choices like this work out? I mean, Orlando here does because he made top 4, but it's interesting to see ratios. And then the last Sword Soul list we have here. Now, this is what I'm talking about. 40 cards in this bad boy. We got 2 Dark Ruler No Mores with 2 talents. That is fine. 2 Heavenly Dragon cycles. 1 Vassal. Okay. We're playing the 1 trap card, as per usual. I see we're playing Halki Fibrex. I haven't seen a lot of Halki Fibrex in Sword Soul builds in a very long time, actually. We also have Croissant Designators and Lullaby of Obedience down here as well. That's kind of interesting. I suppose in terms of like diversity and ratios, this does kind of open up some other interesting doors that you could find and have be available to you. But I also like the fact that both this list and the previous list were only on 2 Dark Ruler No Mores. I suppose like the value of seeing 3 might be too much at the end of the day, but it's just that. Alright, now we're going to pass on over to Carlancho's store OTS results. Now this is where the meta creeps in here relatively hard. We have winning the event was none other than Sprite here. Now, once again, we've seen Sprite domination for so long, but the thing that sets this build apart from like the rest of the Sprite competition is just straight the fact that you actually have none other than the Brave package in this deck. For so long, the Brave package has kind of taken a back seat within the Sprite deck. And I do think that it is kind of cool to see just like a little bit of a run back here for the Brave package, because it does get the chance to shine a wee little bit here. And I think that that's necessarily a good thing at the end of the day. But once again, the pure build seems like it could do a little bit better, but this is once again, you know, a little bit more of a localized event in here. So, you know, something like the Brave package can edge out the competition and really catch your opponent off guard. So that's like the big thing that you want here. Also, you know, Dimension Shifter Ghost Reapers down in the side deck going to do some amazing work against people. Next up here, we have Tearlaments. Okay, so this is a 60 card pile here. I see that we're playing Albion and Ecclesia in here. We're playing the Brandon and High Spirits for the good old BES Frog package, or the Death Frog package. We've seen that show up more and more now, ever since it had its grand time out of the YCSs here. More and more players are just kind of like, I suppose, stunned by the overall interactions that you get with that package. You gotta love water searchability engines, man. You know, especially generic staple cards like that seem good. Also, you know, the Incredible Ecclesia just being an extra body you can special summon to give you access to a Baron Defil or a Chaos Ruler as a level 4 tuner is definitely good. I see we are playing the Goki pull in the main deck, but we're not playing the Ladybug in the side deck for time. That feels like an absolute waste in my opinion, but nonetheless, it got second place. Next up here is Froggies. Now, this is what I'm talking about. This is a standard AF list for Sprite. All right, we're not playing the Nimble BBs, though, which is fine at the end of the day. I see that we have the Sprite. Yeah, standard Sprite negates the 1-2 of. We are playing the 1 Dupe Frog, which I think might be a little bit different. We're playing 1 Crossout Designator in here as well. That feels a little bit rough at the end of the day. Not a super big fan of that, but I understand like the application for it. You don't want to bog down too much. I mean, you already got all your hand traps in the world in here. I mean, you're straight maxed out on 15 of these things, all in straight 3Fs. So, and either way, you should have an issue with that. Also, the 2 Pot of Prosperities is fine. I mean, you just cut a pot to play the 1 Crossout Designator. Kind of rounds out things in a little interesting way. Maybe something you might not have expected. But overall, I like this. This is pretty good. And then the last as we have for you guys, here's another Sprite list. How many Sprite decks can you pack into 1 Top Cut? Now, this one went for the straight triple Crossout Designator, which is fine. We have triple pots in here for filtering. So, yeah. Your differences between this list and the previous list, the last list was a little bit more tacked out. It adjusted its ratios a wee little bit more appropriately. But when you look at something like this here, you do see those key differences within the metagame sphere of choices. So overall, that is your Carlancho store breakdown. Very, very meta-filled. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, ladies and gentlemen. So what do you think about all of these interesting results? Please, comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.